My beloved child, before you take another step, be still in the depths of your soul and allow me to touch the place you once believed was most fragile. There were moments when you thought the bond between you and me was like a wisp of smoke, easily scattered when the winds of life began to rise. Yet I speak to you with the certainty of the one who formed the heavens and the earth. What connects you to heaven is not a frail thread, but a foundation more unshakable than mountains. As it is written, though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken. Isaiah 54:10. You are not suspended in some undefined void. You are anchored in a covenant that flows from my eternal nature. That covenant is the quiet lifeline pulsing through every beat of your heart, even when you are unaware of it. I want you to understand this deeply. Your relationship with heaven did not begin with the words you spoke in prayer, nor is it sustained by emotional fervor that fades with the seasons. Before you ever learned to call my name, I had already called yours. Before you searched for a path toward me, my hand was already upon your life. As it is written, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you. John 15:16. You believed you were groping in the dark in pursuit of light. Yet in truth, the light was pursuing you before you ever had form. For this reason, the connection between us is not governed by your strength or your weakness. It is upheld by my faithfulness. There are days when your faith feels like a small flame struggling against a fierce wind, and you fear it may be extinguished and that you will drift away from me. But, my child, when you are weak, I am not weak. When your vision is blurred by tears, I still see you clearly. When you think you have slipped from my embrace, it is I who am carrying you across what you believe to be an abyss. As it is written, if we are faithless, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. 2 Timothy 2:13. The bond between you and me does not depend on the steadiness of your emotions. It is secured by my unchanging nature. My love is not a tide that rises and falls with your moods. It is a boundless ocean without shore. You once believed you had to cling to this bond through effort, disciplina, or flawless behavior. But I tell you that I am the one who keeps you. As it is written, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121:4. I do not grow weary in guarding my covenant with you. What joins you to me was not signed with ink that fades over time, but engraved by the breath I breathed into you from the beginning. When I spoke life over you, I placed within your very being a mark that belongs to heaven, and no darkness can erase that seal. Remember the story of Jonah, who fled from my call and boarded a ship to escape my presence. Do you think the sea could sever what I had ordained? Do you think the belly of a great fish could undo what I had placed upon his soul? When Jonah sank to what seemed like the very depths, I was still there. When he cried out from the heart of the abyss, I heard him and commanded the fish to release him exactly where I desired. That story is not only about obedience, it is about the impossibility of being separated from the purpose I have spoken. Even if you wander for a season, you remain within the orbit of grace. As it is written, if I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, behold, you are there. Psalm 139:8. There is no place you can step where the covenant does not go with you. Therefore, when you pass through seasons of inner dryness, do not hastily conclude that heaven has closed its doors. Silence does not mean abandonment. There are pauses I use to deepen the roots of your faith, so that you no longer live by feeling, but by truth. You do not come to me through fleeting emotion. You are drawn by an everlasting covenant, and that covenant rests not on your merit, but on my decision to love you. As it is written, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore I have drawn you with loving kindness. Jeremiah 31:3. You are not held because you deserve it. You are held because I chose to love you. I know there are moments when you wonder whether you are still within my plan, especially when past mistakes remind you of your weakness. But hear me clearly. Your stumbles do not have the authority to rewrite what I have written. I am the one who begins and the one who completes. And as it is promised, he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1:6. I do not abandon what I start. When I placed your soul within the current of my purpose, I already knew every bend you would encounter. Nothing surprises me. Nothing forces me to withdraw my love. So do not measure your closeness to me by the intensity of your emotions, nor judge our relationship by success or failure. The connection between you and heaven is etched deeper than anything your eyes can see. It resides within your very being, like the breath you inhale without conscious effort. Can you forget to breathe? In the same way, your soul was designed to belong to me. When you turn back, even with nothing more than a sigh, I have already been there. Let this truth become the foundation beneath your feet. You are not the one who must cling to me in fear. You are the one I hold in love. As my son declared, no one will snatch them out of my hand. John 10:28. You remain in my hand not because you are strong enough to stay, but because I am powerful enough to keep you. And when you grasp this, your soul will cease trembling before the darkness. You will walk not as one afraid of losing the connection, but as one who knows he is carried by heaven. Therefore, my beloved child, be at peace. What binds you to me is not the fragile thread of emotion, but a lifeline engraved by everlasting love. Though seasons change and your heart rises and falls, the covenant remains unshaken. You are not merely connected to heaven, you are covered, upheld, and guarded by heaven itself. In that truth you may rest, for I am your Father, and I never let go. My beloved, listen in the deep stillness, for I want to set before you an image spoken long ago, yet one that must be rekindled in your soul today. When I said, I am the vine, you are the branches, John 15:5, it was not a vague metaphor, but a spiritual reality operating within you every moment. A branch does not cling to the vine as decoration. It lives, grows, and bears fruit because the sap flows quietly from the root. In the same way, you do not merely stand near me, you exist because of me. The life within you is not self-generated. It is transmitted from my eternal source. So when you feel depleted, do not assume you have been left in a desert. The branch does not water itself, it is nourished from within. When you grow weary along the journey, I do not stand at a distance observing. I pour new strength into you. As it is written, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall soar on wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. You may think you are forcing yourself to rise on your last reserve of strength, but it is I who lift you. When your soul is dry, I do not wait for you to discover a spring. I cause living water to flow within you. As it is declared, whoever believes in me, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water. John 7:38. You do not thirst alone, you are refreshed from within. There are times when you believe you are standing firm through sheer determination, that your willpower alone carries you through the storm. But I tell you the truth, even when you imagine yourself independent, I am the one who keeps your knees from collapsing. As it is written, the Lord upholds all who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. Psalm 145:14. You have never walked apart from my current, even in moments of distraction, confusion, or missteps. That lifeline continues to flow. I know there are days when you do not sense me clearly in prayer, and you worry that the connection has dimmed. But, my child, your relationship with me does not exist only in sacred hours. when your eyes are closed and your lips are moving. It operates in the noise of daily life, in small decisions, even in moments when you are too tired to form a single word. As it is written, "In him we live and move and have our being," Acts 17:28. You do not step into me and then step out. You are in me, and I am in you. Remember the story of Elijah when he fled into the wilderness in fear. After great victories, he sat beneath the broom tree and asked to die, believing he had failed. Yet I did not sever him from his calling. I sent an angel with bread and water and then summoned him to rise and continue the journey. 1 Kings 19. In his exhaustion and despair, I did not wait for him to restore himself. I nourished him. That is how I move in your life. When you are tempted to abandon the promise because you feel unworthy, I awaken spiritual memory within you. When you can no longer see the path, I place light beneath your feet. As it is written, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Psalm 119, 105. You think that each time you return to me it is because you were wise enough to remember. But I tell you that it is I who draw you back. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws them. John 6:44. You do not walk by sheer willpower. You walk by a covenant established long before you understood it. That covenant does not sleep, does not tire, and cannot be silenced by disappointment or doubt. It is stronger than your shifting emotions, thicker than the fog of uncertainty that settles over your mind, and more enduring than any trial that seeks to refine you. Darkness fears this truth above all else, that your soul is never detached from the current of heaven. It may whisper that you have drifted too far, that you are broken beyond repair, that you have severed yourself from the source. But I declare, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Romans 8:35. No hardship, no weakness, no mistake can uproot you from me, once I have placed you within my own life. The branch does not preserve itself. The vine sustains the branch. Therefore, do not live in fear of losing connection. Live in the awareness that you are carried by a stream of life that never runs dry. When you are confused, I am still there. When you are distracted, I am still at work. When you stumble, I do not withdraw the sap of life from you. I cleanse and prune you so that you may bear more fruit. Just as I spoke in that same passage, John 15:2, pruning is not separation, it is preparation for abundance. My beloved child, open your spiritual eyes and look beyond passing feelings. This connection is not fragile, it is a lifeline woven into your very being. You are not attached to me as an ornament, you live by me as a branch lives by the vine. When you are weak, I impart strength. When you are dry, I water you. When you want to let go, I hold you. When you wander, I draw you back. And in all of this, I do not merely stand beside you, I flow within you. So rest in this truth, you do not walk alone, stand alone, or fight alone. The covenant lifts you, love keeps you, and the life of heaven is ceaselessly at work within you. Abide in me, as I abide in you, and you will understand that what binds you to me is not a thread that can snap, but eternal life, beating in rhythm with your own heart. My beloved, let your heart grow quiet and receive the image I give you, for I desire to engrave upon your understanding an unchanging truth. Picture yourself as a kite in the vast sky, and I as the hand that holds the string. A kite may soar high into the heavens or dip low toward the earth, but its height is not determined by the wind. It is determined by the string that connects it to the one guiding it. So it is with you. Your life may be lifted by favorable winds or shaken by fierce gusts. But what holds you is not circumstance, it is me. As it is written, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. When the winds of life cause you to tremble, I do not release my grip. When stillness makes you fear you are about to fall, I draw you upward. When you lose direction in the wide sky of choices, I adjust your course in ways you cannot see. Understand this: a kite falls only when the hand lets go of the string. But I declare with eternal certainty, I do not let go of you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. You may feel as though you are swaying, but feelings are not the final reality. The reality is my hand holding firm. There are times when you wonder why you feel distant from heaven, as if the gap is widening. But, my child, that distance is not caused by a weakening string. It arises because the noise within you has grown too loud. The voices of old memories, of unhealed fears, of the need to prove yourself, of wounds not yet closed, all blend into interference that muffles my voice. You are still learning to discern the difference between emotion and truth. Emotions shift with circumstance. Truth does not. Emotions can blur your vision. Truth steadies your footing. As it is written, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 24:35. When your mind trembles with anxiety, my covenant remains unmoved. When your heart is pulled in opposing directions by hidden psychological undercurrents, I remain the unshakable center. You are connected to heaven, not by the intensity of your spiritual excitement, but by the truth sealed into your identity. Remember Peter when he stepped out of the boat onto the stormy sea. While his eyes were fixed on me, he walked upon the water, but when he focused on the wind and waves, he began to sink. Yet he did not sink because I released him. He sank because his gaze shifted from the source. And the moment he cried out, I reached for him. Matthew 14:30-31. You see, the connection was not severed by fear. It was obscured by distraction. When you feel yourself sinking into confusion, I do not stand at a distance in judgment. I extend my hand. This is why I continually say, do not be afraid, not merely to calm fleeting emotion, but to awaken you to what cannot be shaken. You are still being held. There are many voices you may hear within: the voice of past failure, the voice of comparison, the voice of others, even the harsh voice you use against yourself. Yet beneath all that noise, my voice remains gentle yet steadfast. As I revealed to Elijah amid wind, earthquake, and fire, I was not in the commotion but in the still small whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. When you learn to become quiet, you will realize the connection has never weakened. Only your attention has been scattered. Emotion does not have the authority to sever what I have joined. Fear may cause you to shrink back, but it cannot make me withdraw. Old memories may tug you toward the past, but they cannot erase the covenant embedded within you. As it is written, see, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:16. That image is not poetic exaggeration. It is assurance. You are etched into my faithfulness. When you feel distant, ask yourself, have I departed? Or have you been listening to the wrong voice? I speak this so your soul will cease its trembling. The feeling of distance is not evidence of separation. It is a sign that you must grow quieter, deeper, in order to hear me again. When emotion deceives you, truth will draw you back. When your mind is unsettled, my light will guide you. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119-105. I do not merely hold the string, I direct the way. So, my beloved, do not fear the winds. Do not fear even the stillness. Do not fear when you do not sense me as clearly as before. The string remains. The hand still holds. The covenant is still active. When you remember this, peace will return to your heart. And in that peace, you will soar, not because the wind is favorable, but because you are held. I do not let go of you. Never. My beloved child, let your heart settle and perceive something deeper than thought. The connection between you and me is not merely a chord or a symbolic image. It is like a bloodstream flowing quietly through your body. You do not see that blood every moment, nor are you constantly aware of your heartbeat. Yet it nourishes every cell and sustains your life, whether you are awake or asleep. In the same way, my life flows within you without interruption, even when your mind is weary. When your soul enters silence, that current continues. As it is written, He Himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. Acts 17:25. I do not wait for you to be strong before I breathe into you. I breathe into you so that you may become strong. You often assume that you must reach a certain spiritual height before you are worthy to receive my presence. But I tell you, the breath is not granted as a reward for the spiritually accomplished. It is given so that the weary may rise. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. I do not require you to strain in order to prove yourself. I invite you to open your heart and receive. You do not sustain this relationship through anxious effort. I sustain it through my abiding presence that surrounds your life. As it has been promised, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Matthew 28:20. When you think you are lost at the crossroads of your choices, I do not search for you in confusion. I know exactly where you stand. When you feel shattered by failure, I lift you not with a new promise, but with the everlasting promise spoken over you from the beginning. Remember the story of the prodigal son. When he left his father's house and squandered his inheritance, he believed he had forfeited his position and lost his identity. Yet, while he was still far off, his father saw him and ran to embrace him. Luke 15. Distance did not weaken the Father's love, it revealed the depth of His mercy. So it is with you. You cannot wander so far that I cannot draw you back. I do not wait for you to perfect yourself before receiving you. I welcome you in love and restore your identity. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:16. That imprint does not fade with time or with your mistakes. Receive this as a clarion call within your soul. You cannot lose heaven when you were born from my breath. You cannot fall from my hand, for no one will snatch them out of my hand. John 10:28. Every trial, every temptation, every deceptive voice seeks to make you forget who you are. They whisper that you have been separated, that you have moved beyond the reach of grace. But I speak with authority. You belong to me. I am your source. I am the breath filling your lungs. I am the life pulsing through every beat of your heart. There will be times when you do not feel this clearly. There will be days when your faith seems like a small lamp flickering in heavy fog. Yet remember, the bloodstream does not cease to flow simply because you are not thinking about it. My life does not stop working within you because you are distracted. As it is written, if we are faithless, He remains faithful. 2 Timothy 2:13. This connection is not measured by emotion. It is secured by my nature. It does not weaken with the passing years. It matures with you, deepening each time you rise after falling, growing stronger in your awareness each time you cry. Abba, Father, Romans 8:15. You carry within you a spiritual mark that I alone fully recognize. As the shepherd knows his sheep and calls each one by name, John 10:3, I know you distinctly. You are not an anonymous soul among a crowd. You are one whose identity is inscribed within my covenant. Therefore, when you are lost in the noise of the world, I still recognize your sigh. When you believe you have wandered off the map, I see you more clearly than you see yourself. So, my beloved child, do not live in fear of losing what cannot be lost. Live in the awareness that you are continually nourished by the life that flows from heaven. You do not need to hold on to me. I am holding you. You do not need to climb upward to reach me. I have already come down and dwell within you. And each time you believe, each time you rise again after falling, each time you whisper, Abba, that bond is not merely affirmed, it becomes stronger in your understanding. Rest in this. I am the life within you, and I never cease to flow. My beloved child, go deeper into what I am about to unveil. For there are truths perceived only when the soul listens from its innermost place. The bond between you and me does not function like electricity that flows only when a switch is turned on. It is like an invisible field surrounding a planet. You do not see that gravitational pull, yet you are always within it. Just as the earth holds the moon in orbit through a force unseen, I encompass your life with a spiritual field that never ceases. As it is written, He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. Colossians 1:17. You are not drifting through empty space. You are sustained within my orbit. When you believe you have wandered far, you imagine you have escaped that pull. Yet it is precisely then that the drawing becomes more evident. Have you noticed that the more you try to move away, the stronger the inward urging to return? That is no accident. When you draw near, the pull feels gentle as breath. When you stand still, it surrounds you with stability. My guidance does not depend on loud voices or dramatic signs. It rests upon the quiet field that operates around your life. The Lord will guide you always. Isaiah 58:11. You do not need to hear an audible command each time. You need only discern the slightest prompting within your spirit that is already my signal. I lead you first through subtle stirring. As wind touches the surface of a lake and ripples spread outward, I touch your inner being with delicate movements. Have you ever sensed a calling without hearing a sound? Those moments are not coincidence. They are the covenant between us vibrating with life. When Samuel was a child and heard his name called in the night, he did not yet recognize my voice. Yet his spirit was stirred. 1 Samuel 3. So it is with you. There are times you dismiss it as passing emotion, but in truth, it is my footsteps drawing near. I do not guide by thunder's noise, I guide by ripples. Be still, and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. In stillness, my field operates most clearly. The impressions you consider random, the urge to change direction, the sense to slow down, the quiet preparation for something approaching, these are signs. You think you are merely reflecting, but I am adjusting your orbit little by little. I also lead you through what I call holy unease. It is not fear that constricts your heart, but a restlessness when you are about to step into a path that does not belong to you. It is like opening your door to leave and sensing that you have forgotten something essential. You cannot name it, yet you know you cannot proceed. Spiritually, it is the same. When you attempt to attach yourself to a connection outside my design, when you prepare to enter a door I have not opened, your soul will resist. This is not because your faith is lacking, it is because I am holding you back. Remember Paul when he intended to enter a certain region, but the Spirit did not permit him. And later he saw a vision of a man from Macedonia, Acts 16-610. The hindrance was not failure, it was recalibration. I do not always close doors with dramatic force. Often I place a quiet unrest within you. If you learn to honor that holy unease, you will avoid paths not meant for you. In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16-9. Do not confuse my protection with rejection. When you feel unable to proceed toward something that seems appealing, it may be because I see what you cannot. I restrain you not because you are unworthy, but because that direction does not belong to you. As a shepherd leads his flock along safe paths, so I do. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep. John 10:14. I know which places are appointed for you and which are not. Therefore, my beloved child, learn to recognize this field. Do not wait for dramatic voices before believing that I am leading you. Pay attention to the faintest vibration within your spirit. Notice the gentle ripples, the holy unrest, the impulses whose origin you cannot explain. That is how I draw you in silence. When you honor that leading, you will find yourself guarded from turns that were never meant for you. You do not need to understand every mechanism. You need only trust that my field surrounds you. You do not walk alone. You move within the orbit of grace. Even when you do not hear clearly, the pull remains active. Rest in this truth. I do not merely speak to you, I encompass you. I hold you, and I guide you with an eternal gravity that never weakens. My beloved, open your heart to perceive the lines I trace upon your journey. For there are ways I lead that are quieter yet deeper than any audible call. There is a mechanism you often call luck, but heaven calls alignment. When you unexpectedly meet the right person at the right moment, when your eyes fall upon a sentence precisely as your soul is searching, when a door opens in what seems like coincidence, you assume it is random. But I declare, the steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord, the Psalm 37:23. None of your steps are disorganized in my sight. You do not see the movements behind the spiritual veil, where the angels I send carry out my will. As it is written, are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation? Hebrews 1:14. When you encounter the right opportunity, when a word touches the exact wound hidden within you, when someone appears as the answer to an unspoken prayer, it is not fortune. It is the imprint of my passage through your life. Just as Eliezer met Rebekah at the well at the precise moment required, Genesis 24, every detail was arranged before he arrived. So it is with you. What you call coincidence is the intersection of my intention and your obedience. I want you to begin noticing these traces. When you read the right scripture while your heart is unsettled, when you hear counsel that seems written for you alone, when you open a door and encounter an unexpected ease, pause and recognize that I am guiding you. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go, Psalm 32:8. I do not speak only through grand visions, I speak through sacred convergences. Yet, my child, not only open doors signify my hand, I also guide through doors that close. You once believed that when an opportunity slipped away, it was failure. But often I close a door to protect your soul from what you cannot yet perceive. As a father prevents a child from touching fire despite its beautiful glow, so I do. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly. Psalm 84:11. If I close something, it is not to disappoint you, but because it is not truly good for you. Remember Paul when he was prevented from entering a certain region, though his plan seemed right, Acts 16. That closure was not an end, it was a redirection. There are relationships you thought were dreams, yet I knew they would wound you. There are careers you believed were destiny, yet I knew they would dry out your spirit. I close in order to preserve, and each time a door shuts, the bond between us does not weaken, it grows brighter, drawing you toward the path appointed for you. I also use a signal deeper than any other, spiritual peace. Not fleeting excitement or temporary comfort, but a settled stillness within your soul that assures you without explanation. And the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. Philippians 4:7. That peace is like stepping into a place and knowing you belong there, even if you have never been before. It does not depend on outward conditions. It flows from my imprint upon that direction. If a path leaves your soul light, clear, and open, it is a sign that my hand rests upon it. But if a direction fills you with heaviness, confusion, or constriction, even when logic insists, it is wise, pause. Peace does not lie. It is my voice pressed upon your path. As Esther was positioned at the right time to deliver her people, Esther 4, favor and peace confirmed the hour I had appointed. My beloved child, learn to distinguish between excitement and peace. Excitement may arise from ambition. Peace flows from my seal. Excitement can vanish when trials appear. Peace remains even in the storm. When you become sensitive to this signal, you will no longer be driven by outward noise. You will walk not merely by what your eyes perceive, but by an inward knowing that steadies your steps. Therefore, when you encounter sacred alignments, give thanks. When a door closes, trust. When peace settles upon you, move forward. I am orchestrating your journey through invisible yet precise means. Nothing is accidental. No door closes beyond my oversight. No opportunity opens without my awareness. You are guided by a wisdom far greater than any plan you could devise. Rest in this. I do not speak to you only through words. I speak through arrangement, through openings and closures, and through the deep peace within your soul. As you learn to recognize these traces, you will find that you are no longer walking in uncertainty, but in the light of eternal guidance. My beloved, listen even more deeply, for there are paths I open, not with flashes of brilliance, but with quiet rays that shine from within your own memory. I guide you through what you think is simple recollection, yet it is spiritual remembrance, the times I delivered you from the depths, the seasons I corrected you in love, the moments I healed what you believed would never mend. These memories are not given for nostalgia. They are lamps set along your way, as I instructed my people long ago. Remember the whole way that the Lord your God has led you, Deuteronomy 8:2. That remembrance is more than mental recall. It is heaven's awareness alive within you. When you stand before a difficult decision and suddenly recall how I once rescued you from what seemed impossible, that is not random thought. It is light from the past, illuminating your present. The chosen do not live solely by what they understand today. They live by the evidence of my faithfulness revealed yesterday. When David faced Goliath, he remembered the lion and the bear he had overcome, 1 Samuel 17. That memory did not weaken him, it strengthened him. So it is with you. Each time I awaken a past deliverance within your spirit, I am reminding you that I do not change. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. Hebrews 13:8. I lead you not only through remembrance but also through purposeful silence. There are seasons when you pray and do not hear my voice as clearly as before, and you fear I have withdrawn. But, my child, when I am silent, I am not absent. When I am silent, I am creating space for discernment. As music is turned down so that one may hear the heartbeat, I quiet the noise so you can hear the true rhythm of your soul, and that rhythm always inclines toward me. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Silence is not emptiness. It is fertile soil where the roots of your faith grow deep. The chosen do not mature amid the clamor of signs and wonders. They grow in the quiet spaces where the Spirit leads in subtlety. Remember Elijah, who searched for me in the wind, the earthquake, and the fire. Yet I came in a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. It was in that softness that he received direction. So it is with you. When everything around you becomes still, do not be afraid. That is when I am teaching you to listen, not merely with your ears, but with your soul. You have seen by now that I do not primarily guide you through spectacles that astonish. I guide you through invisible signals discerned only by a sensitive heart. The faint ripple when I touch your spirit, the holy unease that restrains you from a misaligned path, the sacred convergences you once called luck, the doors that close for your protection, the deep peace that confirms a step, the awakened memory that reminds you of my faithfulness, the arranged silence that trains you to distinguish my voice from the many others. This is the language of heaven. When you begin to recognize these workings, you will no longer walk in confusion. You will learn to trace my footprints at every turning. You will understand that each stirring, each pause, each sudden recollection carries meaning. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Psalm 32:8. You are not abandoned in a maze of choices. You are being guided by invisible threads that are precise and intentional. Therefore, my beloved, do not seek guidance only in what is dramatic. Learn the language of subtlety. Treasure the memories I awaken. Receive the silence I arrange. Let peace be your measure. As you walk this way, you will realize that I have never ceased speaking. I have simply been speaking more deeply through every unseen signal. I am guiding you back into the orbit of the eternal purpose I have placed upon your life. My beloved child, step even deeper into what I am unveiling. For what I am about to say is not for restless ears, but for a listening soul. There is a dimension of connection beyond hearing my voice or recognizing my signs. I call it divine alignment, when the atmosphere of heaven and the rhythm within you become one. It is not merely that you are held in my hands, but that you move in the same cadence in which I am moving. As it is written, whoever is united with the Lord is one with him in spirit. 1 Corinthians 6:17. This is not metaphor, it is spiritual reality. Alignment is not thunderous like lightning, nor mysterious in a way that breeds fear. It is like dawn, breaking light, spreading until everything becomes clear without announcement. When you enter into the same rhythm in which I breathe, into the same current I am releasing, you no longer strive to be guided. You naturally move within that direction. As Enoch walked with God, Genesis 5:24, that companionship was not a single act, but a continual rhythm of life. Without alignment, you are still protected, but when alignment opens, you are not only sheltered, you are empowered to operate within my flow. Imagine a light bulb and an electric current. The bulb does not generate light on its own. It shines because power flows through it. So it is with you. The light you carry is not self-produced. It is my presence moving through you. You are the light of the world, Matthew 5:14. Yet that light is not yours by origin. It belongs to the source at work within you. When alignment flows freely, your life shines, not because you strain to glow, but because I am passing through you. When alignment is strong, your words carry weight, not because of eloquence, but because heaven affirms them. When alignment runs deep, your steps open paths, not because of bravery, but because I am crossing the ground with you. You have sensed that when I am near, everything seems lighter, clearer, easier. That is not emotional illusion. It is life flowing unhindered. For in him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. When you move in my rhythm, what you do carries a spiritual ease, not because circumstances instantly rearrange, but because you are no longer resisting the current. Yet understand this: alignment does not sustain itself merely because you once tasted it. It is nourished by two things: a quiet mind and a pure heart. A quiet mind does not mean an empty one. It is a mind that knows how to pause when I touch it. When you stop chasing every voice of the world, when you learn to discern noise from my prompting, space opens within you. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. In that stillness, alignment expands. Think of a lake. Only when its surface becomes calm does it clearly reflect the sky. Your soul is the same. When your thoughts are agitated by worry and comparison, heaven's signal is distorted. But when you learn to be still, the light reflects without obstruction. Stillness is not emptiness, it is authority. In stillness, you choose not to let noise determine your rhythm, you let mine lead. A pure heart also sustains alignment, not a flawless heart, but one that hides nothing from me. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5-8. When you guard your heart from bitterness and pretense, the flow remains clear. When you forgive, when you release, when you refuse to let darkness settle within you, the light moves more freely. My beloved child, alignment is not a mystical state reserved for a few. It is an invitation to anyone willing to step into my rhythm. As you learn stillness and keep your heart transparent, you will discover that you no longer have to struggle to be guided. You will recognize me operating in every decision, every word, every step. And when your rhythm merges with mine, you will not only be kept safe, you will become a conduit of life and light. Remember this, I do not merely desire to hold you, I desire to flow through you. And when you walk in that alignment, your life will shine, not because you strive to illuminate, but because heaven's current is continually alive within you, my beloved child. Let me touch the deepest layer of the alignment I have opened to you. A pure heart does not mean you have never been wounded, never stumbled, or never carried shadows within your memory. A pure heart is one that hides nothing from me. You do not need to be flawless for the flow to move freely. You need only to be honest. When you conceal your fears, your shame, or the parts of yourself you consider weak, the life within you does not cease, but it becomes obstructed, like water slowed by hidden debris in a pipe. If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. 1 John 1:9. Purity is not the absence of scars, it is the refusal to hide them from me. When you lay every part of yourself before me, the thoughts you are not proud of, the memories that make your face flush, I do not turn away. I touch that truth and clear the channel. As David prayed, create in me a clean heart. O God, Psalm 51:10. He did not disguise his failure, he opened himself fully. And in that honesty, grace flowed again with strength. When the channel is clear, alignment deepens. When alignment deepens, you no longer strive to function, you begin to function naturally. Your role in keeping the connection unobstructed is not measured by how much you accomplish, but by whether you maintain the right direction. Picture your soul as an antenna lifted toward heaven. The antenna does not produce the signal. It only needs to face correctly in order to receive. When your thoughts, choices, and reactions are oriented toward me, you will catch even the faintest whisper. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Isaiah 55:6. Seeking is not frantic searching, it is the turning of the heart. But when you turn your antenna toward fear, toward the need to prove yourself, toward the expectations of others, the signal grows distorted. It is not that I have moved away, it is that your direction has shifted. You have not lost the connection, you have simply misaligned it. And returning does not require elaborate rituals, only a slight turning of the heart. As the prodigal son came to himself and resolved to return, Luke 15, restoration began with an inward shift before his feet ever moved. You also preserve the clarity of the flow by refusing to let emotion eclipse truth. Emotions may pour like heavy rain, loud and overwhelming, but I have given you the shelter of my word. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 24:35. My word is bedrock. Emotions are foam upon the surface. Foam may cover the rock for a moment and blur your sight, but it lacks the weight to reshape the stone. When you choose to stand upon the foundation I have laid, the foam dissolves. When you stand in the middle of emotional downpour, you are swept along by what is temporary. Remember the wise man who built his house upon the rock and the foolish man who built upon sand. Matthew 7:24-25. Rain fell, floods rose, winds blew, yet the house on the rock remained. Emotions come and go, the truth I speak endures. Your task is not to prevent the rain, but to choose your foundation. I never abandon the rock. I do not fluctuate with the storms of your feelings. When you stand upon what I have declared rather than upon what you currently feel, alignment remains unbroken. My beloved child, the clarity of the flow does not require you to become extraordinary. It requires you to live honestly, orient correctly, and stand upon the rock. When you are truthful, I cleanse. When you turn toward me, I transmit. When you choose the foundation, I steady you. And through all of this, I do not depart from you for even a moment. Rest in this assurance. I am not searching for perfection in you. I am seeking openness. I am not demanding that you overpower your emotions. I am inviting you to stand upon truth. And as you do, the river of living water will move without obstruction. The light will shine without hindrance. And the alignment between you and me will grow deeper with each passing day. My beloved child, allow me to reach even deeper into the dimension of alignment I have opened before you. You preserve the flow not only through honesty or right direction, you must also guard the atmosphere within you. That inner atmosphere is like a room into which I desire my light to pour. When the windows are clear, light passes through effortlessly. When the glass is filmed over with doubt, envy, judgment, or fear, the light does not cease shining, but your sight becomes dim. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5:8. Seeing does not increase because I move closer. It increases because your vision is no longer obscured. Child whom I have called from eternal light, now is the moment to rise, not in the haste of the flesh, but in the alertness of a soul awakened. I am not summoning you to rush in panic. I am inviting you to move as one who knows he hears the Father's voice. Enough seasons have passed where emotion pulled you backward. Enough days where you circled through repeated thoughts like a wheel that never finds release. Now you must change your axis. Not the axis of feeling, but the axis of truth. The righteous shall live by faith. Romans 1:17. And faith does not lean upon external waves, but upon my voice within. Step away from the territory where fear once camped in your mind. That land may feel familiar, but it is no longer the dwelling I appointed for you. You have lingered there long enough where every strong emotion unsettled you, where every word from another had the power to define you. I did not create you to be driven by passing winds. I created you to live from the center. I have given you authority. Luke 10:19. That authority first means governing your own soul under my direction. When I say stand, you need not run. When I say open, you need not shrink. When I say be silent, you need not defend yourself. You are no longer one who reacts to pressure. You are one who responds to calling. I am leading you out of old cycles, the loops of anxiety, self-doubt, and the constant need to prove your worth. Those circles exhausted you, carrying you far yet nowhere. But I declare that you are stepping into a new identity, not an identity built upon achievement, but one engraved by covenant. As it is written, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. 2 Corinthians 5:17. You are no longer bound to the former image of yourself. You no longer revolve around emotion. You revolve around my voice. This shift is not loud, yet it is powerful. You will find that when emotion rises like a tide, you are no longer swept away. You will stand within the surge without drowning, because your feet rest upon my foundation. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. That light does not merely illuminate what lies ahead, it steadies your footing. When anxiety knocks at your door, you will not flee for shelter. You will remain and listen to me. When sorrow attempts to close your heart, you will open because I say, open. This is not the denial of emotion, it is the governance of emotion under truth. I am transforming you from a stone battered by water into a stream directed with purpose. A stone passively endures force. A stream guided by me moves intentionally through terrain I choose. You are no longer an object struck about by circumstance. You are a current I channel through landscapes I appoint. Whoever believes in me, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water. John 7:38. You do not merely survive storms, you carry life through them. Remember Joshua, when I commanded him to stand before the people and enter the promised land. He was not called to act in panic, but in conviction. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1-9. That courage did not arise from intense emotion, but from awareness that I walked beside him. So it is with you. The action I call forth from you is not impulsive zeal, it is movement anchored in my presence. From this moment forward, you will see that you are no longer carried away by old reactions. Instead of allowing emotion to define your direction, you let my voice set your course. Instead of shrinking in fear, you open in faith. Instead of fleeing from pressure, you stand because you know you are upheld. I am repositioning you within the orbit of truth. And within that orbit, you no longer live as one swept away, but as one who is guided. My beloved child, to act in awareness means that every step you take arises from listening. You do not rush to prove yourself, you move to obey. You do not seek to control everything, you seek to keep pace with me. When you live this way, your life will no longer be ruled by the peaks and valleys of emotion. You will become a steady current, carrying the vitality of heaven through a wavering world. Therefore, rise, not to fight in your own strength, but to walk in the identity I have spoken over you. Leave behind the old ground of instinctive reaction and step into the new ground of spiritual governance. Let truth lead you instead of feeling pulling you. And as you do, you will realize that I am not merely keeping you from sinking. I am directing you like a powerful river carrying life, cutting through stone, and flowing toward the place I appointed for you from the beginning. I have never left the room of your soul. But when you allow silent toxins to accumulate, retained negative thoughts, unforgiven wounds, quiet comparisons, their film scatters the light. Spiritual cleansing is not so that I may enter. It is so that you may recognize I have always been there. As David prayed, "Search me, O God, and lead me in the everlasting way." Psalm 139-23-24. That searching is not to condemn, but to clear the windows of your heart so the light is no longer obstructed. You also preserve alignment by responding quickly to the smallest prompting of the Spirit. I do not begin with grand assignments. I teach you faithfulness in what is small. A word of forgiveness you choose to speak, though your heart still aches. A step back instead of arguing to defend your pride. A decision not to participate in what you sense I am not leading you into. A silence when I urge you to hold your tongue. He who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. These small acts may appear insignificant to you, yet in the spiritual realm they open vast doors. Remember Naaman, who was healed not through a dramatic spectacle, but through obedience to a simple instruction to wash 7 times in the Jordan. 2 Kings 5. He nearly missed his miracle because the act seemed too small. So it is with you. The strength of the chosen does not lie in the quantity of their deeds, but in the sensitivity of their hearing. When you listen in small matters and respond promptly, alignment does not merely remain intact, it deepens. And my child, understand the ultimate purpose of alignment. It is not only that you may be filled, comforted, or strengthened. It is that you may become a meeting point between heaven and earth. When the flow moves freely, your words carry healing, not because of your skill, but because I move through them. Your gaze carries peace, not because you are flawless, but because my atmosphere surrounds you. Your breath carries life because I am the breath within you. Whoever believes in me, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water. John 7:38. You were not created to store the river. You were created for it to pass through you. When alignment is strong, your steps open paths without strain. Your presence alters the atmosphere around you because the atmosphere within you has been kept clear. Like Moses descending the mountain, whose face reflected light because he had been in my presence. Exodus 34. He did not generate the radiance. He reflected what he had dwelt within. So it is with you. You are not called to become extraordinary by the world's definition. You are called to become unobstructed. Remember this, you are a conduit, not a reservoir. You are a channel of flow, not a storage vault. When you attempt to retain everything for yourself, the current weakens. When you allow me to move through you, the current strengthens. And where the current runs strong, the atmosphere shifts. The will of heaven touches human lives through your presence. Therefore, my beloved child, guard the atmosphere of your heart. Cleanse the windows of your soul. Respond swiftly to the smallest prompting. Let the current pass through without obstruction. When you do, you will not merely remain in the light, you will become the place where light meets the earth. And in that alignment, heaven and earth converge within your life. My beloved child, when you understand that your life is called to be a meeting point between heaven and earth, when you recognize that alignment is not only so you may be filled, but so the river of life may pass through you, then I invite you into a deeper response, not by straining effort, but by offering yourself from the depths of your soul. And now, before you utter a single word, let your heart soften in reverent awe. Let every noise subside. Let your spirit open wide like a door, welcoming the early wind. And I say to you, now lift your voice before me with complete honesty and the deepest longing of your soul. Almighty God, creator of the heavens, and the one who placed breath within my lungs, I do not come before you displaying achievements, but with the poverty of a soul that knows it needs to be touched. Keep the inner atmosphere of my heart clear, like the early morning unclouded by smoke. Sweep away every shadow of doubt, every quiet seed of envy, every sharp word of judgment, and every fear that causes me to withdraw. Do not allow me to live beneath invisible layers that scatter your light. But let my soul become a wide open window through which your presence pours without obstruction. As it is written, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. Let that light not only shine around my life, but penetrate every hidden corner within me. Holy Father, searcher of hearts and knower of every thought before it becomes speech, I ask you for a heart that conceals nothing. If there remains within me any ground I have covered in shame, gently touch it. If there is any memory I fear to face, step into it with me. I do not ask to become perfect by the standards of the world. I ask to become pure by the measure of heaven, pure because I hide nothing from you. Let the river of living water flow freely through me, unobstructed by unforgiven bitterness or pride yet to be released, as you have promised. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5:8. Grant that I may not only see you in moments of prayer, but in every reaction, every choice, and every ordinary moment of my life. O Shepherd of my soul, teach me to discern the smallest prompting of your Holy Spirit when you gently urge me to speak forgiveness. Do not let me delay when you press me toward silence instead of rebuttal. Let my lips obey when you signal me to withdraw from a path that appears appealing. Grant me the humility to step back. Rescue me from the stubborn desire to pursue grand gestures while neglecting simple obedience. I understand that true strength is not found in display, but in sensitivity. Form me into one who is faithful in what is very small, so that when you entrust what is greater, I will not be overwhelmed. As it is written, he who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Engrave this truth deeply within my soul. God of peace, teach me to stand upon the foundation of your word when emotion rises like a restless sea, when anxiety pulls at my heart. Remind me that your word is unshakable stone, when disappointment falls like heavy rain. Lead me beneath the shelter of truth. I do not want the foam of feeling to obscure the solid rock beneath. I desire to build my life upon what you have spoken. As Jesus taught that the wise man built his house upon the rock, and when wind and flood came, it did not fall. Matthew 7:24-25. Establish my life upon that unchanging ground, so that though the atmosphere around me shifts, the atmosphere within me remains clear and steady. Source of eternal life, make me a conduit in your hands. Do not allow me to clutch for myself what you intend to flow through me. Keep me from becoming a closed reservoir, and shape me into an open stream. Let my words carry healing breath. Let my gaze communicate peace. Let my presence soften the spaces I enter, not because I possess something remarkable, but because your life moves through me unhindered, as it is written. Whoever believes in me, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water. John 7:38. Make that promise a lived reality in each day of my life. And loving Father, amid these petitions, my soul rises in gratitude. I thank you that you do not wait for my perfection before drawing near, but remain beside me even in my confusion and weakness. I thank you for the times you closed doors before me to protect my soul from burdens I was not yet ready to bear. I understand that some disappointments that felt like loss were in truth protection. As it is written, all things work together for good for those who love God. Romans 8:28. I trust that every closed door rests within your wise and faithful design, faithful one through every generation. I also lift gratitude because you have never ceased awakening within me the memory of your deliverance. Each time I nearly fell and was lifted. Each time I wandered and was guided back. Each time I thought I was broken beyond repair and yet was restored, has become living evidence that you do not change. I thank you that you do not perform one miracle and then withdraw, but that you accompany with steady devotion, as it is written. God is our refuge and strength. Psalm 46:1. I give thanks that this refuge never closes its doors. My beloved child, when you offer these words with sincerity, I hear not only the sound but the rhythm beneath them, and I declare that the alignment between us is not distant or abstract. It expands each time you choose honesty. Each time you reorient your heart. Each time you stand upon the rock. Each time you respond to the smallest prompting. Continue guarding the inner atmosphere as one who tends a lamp in the night. Continue clearing the windows of your soul. Continue answering the whisper quickly, and you will see that not only are you filled, but through you heaven touches earth. Not only are you upheld, but through you others are lifted. Not only are you illuminated, but through you atmospheres shift. And in all of this, I am with you. I move through you, and I delight as you become a meeting point where my will is expressed on earth as it is in heaven. My beloved child, before this word closes, I remind you of something not to conclude but to initiate continuation in your journey. You are not one who sits at the edge to listen and forget. You are not a spectator watching the current pass by. You are called into the current itself. You are chosen to live daily in the presence of my word, not merely to hear, but to walk, not merely to feel, but to operate. As it is written, be doers of the word, and not hearers only. James 1:22. You were not created to consume light. You were created to carry it. Therefore, as you continue to listen and receive what I speak, do so as one who belongs to covenant, not as one momentarily curious. Keep your soul open, like soil, ready for seed. If you choose to remain in this river of life, take intentional steps. Remember, stay connected. Remain in rhythm with the messages I am releasing. Do not miss what I am doing because of momentary distraction. You are not only permitted to hear, you are called to live. Not only encouraged, you are entrusted. And as you faithfully keep yourself within my presence each day, you will discover that I never cease speaking, never cease guiding, never cease working within you. Remain in this flow. Keep your heart open to every word spoken, and do not drift from the rhythm I am establishing over your life. Thank you for listening to this message. Know that you are not merely an observer. You are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss any sacred message. Amen. My beloved child, before you try to understand everything with your mind, let your soul become still like the surface of water when the wind ceases. For what I am speaking does not belong to reasoning, but to revelation. There are movements within you that you once questioned, unfamiliar stirrings, nameless unrest, moments when you awoke in the night without knowing why, and these are not confusion, nor are they products of your imagination. They are the quiet call of heaven, touching the deepest place within you. As it is written, he who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Revelation 2:7. And today I tell you that you are in a moment where your spiritual hearing is being opened to perceive what you were not yet permitted to understand before. But understand this rightly. You are not stepping into this because you have become stronger on your own, but because I have been working within you through the seasons you thought were forgotten. The days when you felt held back, the moments when you believed you were not moving forward, the long silences that made you question whether you had gone the wrong way. None of these were meaningless delays. As it is written, when he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. What you called stagnation, I called refinement. What you called silence, I called formation. I never place you in circumstances to harm you. I place you there to separate you from what does not belong to your destiny. Consider this, my child. Gold does not become precious when it is displayed, but when it is refined by fire. When the fire touches it, the gold does not lose its nature, it becomes pure. In the same way, your hidden season was not a place of destruction, but a place of refinement. As it is written, he will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. Malachi 3:3. I did not take my eyes off you in the furnace. I remained there, watching every transformation, ensuring that the fire would not exceed what you could endure, yet would be sufficient to remove every impurity that had clung to your soul. You once thought that pressure was a sign you were going the wrong way. But I tell you, pressure is evidence that you are being expanded. You believed that silence meant distance between you and me. But in truth, it was the space I used to build depths within you that words cannot reach. As it is written, the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Habakkuk 2:20. Silence is not my absence. It is the environment in which my presence settles into your very roots. There is a story that many overlook, yet I want you to reflect on it. When I led the people of Israel out of Egypt, I did not take them directly into the promised land. I brought them into the wilderness, a place empty and harsh, where they had nothing to rely on except me. There, they learned to receive manna daily, to trust even when the future was unclear. As it is written, He humbled you, allowed you to hunger, and fed you with manna, that He might make you know that man shall not live by bread alone. Deuteronomy 8:3. The wilderness was not punishment, it was a school of faith. In the same way, the season you have passed through, though dry, though difficult to understand, was where I taught you to live, not by circumstances, but by me. My beloved child, if I had brought you into the light too early, you would not have been able to bear its weight. If I had entrusted you with greater things before your soul was expanded, they would have crushed you rather than lifted you. That is why I prepared you in hidden places, where no one saw, where there was no applause, where it was only you and me. As it is written, Your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Matthew 6:6. What is formed in the darkness will be revealed in the light, but with a strength that only those who have passed through the refining fire are able to carry. Now, my beloved child, you are beginning to sense a movement within yourself, an unexplainable stirring, a quiet awareness that something is shifting. Do not be afraid of it. This is not instability. It is the sign that you are approaching the threshold of a new season. As it is written, Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? Isaiah 43:19. What I am doing within you is not a repetition of the past. It is the birth of something that has never existed before. Therefore, do not turn back to what you have already left behind, nor mourn the former versions of yourself. What I have removed from you was not loss, it was liberation. What I withheld was not rejection, it was preparation. And what you are about to step into is not a matter of chance. It is the unfolding of a process that has been ordained from heaven. Rise with a renewed understanding. My child, you are not one who has been left behind. You are one who has been chosen to be prepared more deeply. You are not delayed. You are being aligned in perfect timing. From this moment forward, you will not walk as you once did. You will walk with the awareness that everything you have endured was not meant to weaken you, but to make you fit for what I have destined for you from the beginning. Hold this truth firmly within your heart. I did not lead you into the refining fire to lose you. I led you there to reveal you. And now, when I call, you will no longer respond as one who is uncertain, but as one who knows that they are stepping into what has long been prepared. There were nights, my beloved, when you whispered within yourself, Lord, why are you silent? And it seemed as though the space before you was filled with a cold stillness. But I tell you this, that silence was never a sign of abandonment. It was the space where my hands were working most deeply. As it is written, Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Stillness is not emptiness. It is the environment where my power moves beyond your understanding. While you were waiting for words, I was shaping. While you were searching for signs, I was building foundations within you that your eyes could not yet see. Picture the potter. My child, when his hands are upon the clay, he does not speak to it. He focuses on forming it. The wheel turns. His hands press, lift, and shape, and each movement seems unseen to those watching. Yet it is within that silence that form emerges. As it is written, O house of Israel, can I not do with you as this potter? Jeremiah 18:6. So have I done with you. I have not left you on the wheel unattended. I have placed my hands upon every part of your life, adjusting what was misaligned, softening what was hardened, lifting what had collapsed not because you lacked value, but because you are being prepared to carry something greater than yourself. There were moments when you felt pressed, stretched, and turned by circumstances beyond your control, and you thought you were breaking. But I declare to you, you are being strengthened. As it is written, after you have suffered a little while, He Himself will restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. 1 Peter 5:10. What you have gone through was not meant to destroy your structure, but to reinforce it from within. If I had not pressed you, you would not have gained depth. If I had not shaped you, you would not have gained form. If I had not held you in the process, you would not have had the capacity to contain what I am about to pour into you. Therefore, my beloved child, I want you to engrave this truth into every breath you take. You were not broken in that season. You were made stronger, deeper, and more established. What you once thought were your limits have been expanded, and what you once called weakness has become the very foundation of a new strength. I did not allow you to fall apart. I restructured you. And now, my child, as you stand at this threshold, I call forth what is opening before you, a divinely appointed moment of transition. This is not a repetition of the past, but the crossing into a new realm. As it is written, the glory of this latter house shall be greater than the former. Haggai 2-9. What is coming is not merely improvement, it is a complete elevation in the way you exist, the way you perceive, and the way you walk. What was once hidden will begin to be revealed. The parts of you that lay dormant will awaken. Doors that once seemed sealed will open not by your striving, but by the command of heaven. As it is written, I open and no one can shut, and I shut and no one can open. Revelation 3-7. You do not need to force the veil aside. I am the one who removes it at the appointed time. You only need to stand ready. Consider the soldier, my child. Before entering the battlefield, he undergoes training repetition, exhaustion, discipline that seems endless. Yet when the moment of real battle comes, everything he has learned becomes instinct. In the same way, you are no longer in the stage of preparation. You are stepping into the place where what has been formed within you is now expressed outwardly. Or like the priest who passes through the veil into the most holy place, where there is no longer separation between man and the divine presence. This is not a random step, but an authorized one. My beloved, understand this clearly. The veil does not open because you have tried long enough, nor because you have become perfect. It opens because the time has come. As it is written, to everything there is a season. Ecclesiastes 3-1. And you are standing precisely within your appointed time. So do not carry an old mindset into this new season. Do not walk as one who still doubts their worth. Do not act as one who believes they are unprepared. What needed to be done has already been accomplished in secret. What needed to be shaped has already been completed in silence. Now, when I call you, step forward, not as one seeking position, but as one who has been positioned, not as one waiting for affirmation, but as one who has long been affirmed. And as you cross over, you will come to understand that none of your past seasons were separate. They have all converged to bring you to this very moment, the moment I unveil and call you into what I have prepared for you from the beginning. My beloved child, there were times when you looked at yourself and concluded that you were not enough, that all you carried was weariness and unhealed fractures. You compared yourself, diminished yourself, and questioned your worth, as though I required from you a perfection you could never attain. But I declare to you, that conclusion did not come from me, for I have never called you based on your own strength, but on what I have placed within you from the beginning. As it is written, my grace is sufficient for you, For my strength is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. What you call weakness is precisely where I choose to reveal my power. You do not need to become strong before I use you. I use you to reveal the true strength that comes from me. Look back at the days when you felt exhausted. My child, you thought it was a sign of depletion. But I tell you, it is the mark of a journey completed. A student who has walked through a long season grows weary, not because they have failed, but because they have endured to the end. As it is written, "He who endures to the end shall be saved." Matthew 24:13. Your perseverance was not in vain. It is the evidence that you did not abandon the path. And now, that weariness is no longer a burden, it becomes a milestone, marking that you have matured enough to step into what comes next. There are moments, my beloved child, when your heart trembles as you look toward what lies ahead, and you call it fear. But I tell you, that trembling is not a lack of faith. It is the natural response of a soul standing before something greater than itself. As it is written, "Work out your salvation with fear and trembling." Philippians 2:12. This trembling is not meant to stop you, but to keep you humble as you step into what is sacred. It reminds you that what is coming is not under your control, but under my guidance. Even when you begin to doubt yourself, when you realize that your own strength is not enough to carry you forward. Understand this, it is not a retreat, but an opening into the right kind of dependence. As it is written, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." Proverbs 3:5. I do not desire that you enter this new season with confidence in yourself. I desire that you walk in complete trust in me. For only when you release the belief that you can do it on your own, will you truly be ready for me to move fully within you. Let me give you an image, so you may understand more deeply what is happening inside you. Your soul is like a seed that has long been buried in the soil. For a long time, no one says it. No one recognizes its presence. Even the seed itself is unaware of the process unfolding within it. Darkness surrounds it. The weight of the earth presses upon it. There is no light, no outward sign that life is moving. Yet within, a quiet miracle is taking place. As it is written, the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. Mark 4:27. True growth does not require human recognition. It unfolds according to the order of heaven. Then comes a moment, my child, when the ground begins to break, not because the seed strives to force its way through, nor because it has become strong by its own effort, but because the life within it has reached a point where it can no longer be contained. That life presses upward, creating a path, breaking through every external barrier. As it is written, when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son. Galatians 4:4. Everything moves according to its appointed time, neither early nor late. You are in that very moment now. My beloved, what you are feeling is not confusion, but the pressure of life rising within you. What you thought was delay was, in truth, accumulation. Nothing in your life has been forgotten. No step has been wasted. Everything has been moving according to the design I established, long before you could understand your own journey. Therefore, release the thought that you are not ready. Your readiness is not measured by how you feel, but by the work I have already completed within you. Let go of the fear that you are not strong enough, for I have never asked you to carry this by your own strength. As it is written, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. Zechariah 4:6. What is opening before you does not depend on your ability, but on my operation within you. My beloved child, as you stand at this threshold, do not step back simply because you feel small. A seed does not need to understand the entire sky in order to begin to grow. It only needs to respond to the life within it. In the same way, You do not need to understand everything ahead in order to move forward. You only need to trust that I have already placed within you everything required for the journey. And when you step forward, my beloved child, you will come to understand that the cracking you see is not a sign of destruction, but the beginning of revelation. The ground does not break open to bury the seed, but to allow it to rise. The breaking of old limitations is not meant to leave you lost, but to create a path for you to enter a new space. What appears as rupture is, in truth, the unveiling of what has long been hidden within you. Hold this firmly within your heart. You are not delayed. You are on time. You have not been left behind. You are being brought into your appointed place. And what is rising within you now cannot be restrained. For it does not originate from human will, but from the life I placed within you from the beginning. That life carries its own authority, its own momentum, and its own timing. My beloved, there are things you have sensed in the depths of your being that you have not dared to name, like a quiet wave rising within your soul. Not loud, yet powerful enough to make you unable to return to what once was. Now I speak plainly so that you will no longer remain uncertain. You are entering a phase where your position is being defined by me. Not a position shaped by ambition, nor by circumstance, but one I inscribed long before you understood yourself. As it is written, before I formed you in the womb I knew you. Before you were born I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. What is happening is not a random shift, but the fulfillment of a purpose that has existed from the beginning. As you step into this phase, you will notice an undeniable shift within you. It will not first appear outwardly, but inwardly. As your spiritual weight is recalibrated, the way you see things will no longer be the same. The way you respond to situations will no longer be driven by emotion as before. What once overwhelmed you will seem smaller, and doubts that once shook you will lose their force. As it is written, you will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you. Isaiah 26:3. This peace does not come from changed circumstances, but from your position in me being established. Understand this deeply. My child, being positioned correctly does not mean being seen more. It means standing more firmly in what I have ordained. There are those who seek validation from others, but the one who is positioned does not depend on such things. They do not measure their worth by the eyes of others, but by the inner certainty that they are exactly where they are meant to be. As it is written, let each one remain in the calling in which he was called. 1 Corinthians 7:20. Your stability does not come from standing above others, but from standing rightly within me. And now you begin to feel it, a prompting that is difficult to explain, as though a voice is calling you without sound, yet clearer than any spoken word. You may wonder if it is your imagination, but I tell you, it is the awakening of your soul. As it is written, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. You recognize this call not because you sought it, but because you belong to it. Not everyone can perceive this, but you can, because your soul has been trained through previous seasons to discern my movement. Remember the story of Samuel as a child. My beloved, in the night, while others slept, he heard a voice and thought it was a human calling him. But over time, he learned to recognize that it was me. As it is written, speak, Lord, for your servant hears. 1 Samuel 3:10. Recognition does not come instantly. It is formed through sensitivity. In the same way, you are learning to distinguish my voice among many others. What you are feeling is not confusion. It is the sign that you are being drawn into deeper intimacy with me. The atmosphere around you is shifting, my beloved child, and you are sensing it even before you can explain it with words. Your heartbeat feels different. Your thoughts are being redirected, and your soul is vibrating at a new frequency. As it is written, the wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound. John 3-8. You do not need to see the entire picture to know that something is in motion. That inner resonance is the evidence that you are aligning with my movement. And now, I want you to hear this, not as a suggestion, but as a confirmation. What you have been waiting for is no longer ahead of you. It has already begun. Not tomorrow, not in some distant moment, but right now, in the very moment you are receiving these words. As it is written, behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6-2. The appointed time is no longer in the future. It has become your present. You will begin to realize that you no longer fit where you once did. Environments that once felt familiar will now feel too small. Thought patterns that once guided you will no longer be able to contain what is emerging within you. And even if you try to return, you will find that you cannot settle back in as before. Not because you have been separated, but because you have been transformed. As it is written, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. That renewal makes it impossible for you to live as you once did. Understand this clearly. My beloved, I have not only called you, I have positioned you. I have not only opened doors, I have brought you through them. I have not only promised, I have already begun to fulfill. What is happening is not an invitation, it is an activation. As it is written, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Revelation 22:13. When I begin something, I also bring it to completion. So do not hesitate between two seasons. Do not stand at the threshold and look back. You have been affirmed, transitioned, and placed into a new current. From this moment on, your steps will carry a different direction, because your inner foundation has been changed. Stand firm in what I have spoken. My child, the new season is not coming. The new season has already opened. And you are no longer standing outside looking in. You are within the flow, being led, covered, and positioned by me. My beloved, let your heart grow still before you try to explain everything. For what I am doing does not come like a storm to overwhelm you, but like a warmth that gently spreads into the depths of your soul. You once believed that great change must come with loud signs, but I tell you that true movements from heaven often begin in gentleness. As it is written, the Lord was not in the wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire, but in a still small voice. 1 Kings 19:12. What you are feeling is not vague. It is my touch upon you. There are mornings when you awaken and do not understand why your mind feels lighter, your vision clearer, your heart at peace. Though nothing outward has changed, this is not coincidence. It is the first sign of a movement that has already begun within. I want you to understand this deeply. My child, nothing I do in your life takes me by surprise. Everything has been nurtured for a long time under my covering. As it is written, he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1:6. What you are experiencing is not a random beginning, but the continuation of a process established long before. And when the moment arrives, the transition does not need to be loud. It spreads like warmth in a room after a long, cold night, requiring no sound, yet changing everything. Therefore, do not be alarmed when you realize that something within you is different. I do not begin with outward circumstances. I begin in the depths of your soul. As it is written, the kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. Before anything manifests outwardly, I have already initiated transformation within. If you feel lighter, clearer, no longer entangled in old patterns of thought, be at peace. For this is the evidence that the process has already been activated. Pay attention to what you have been experiencing recently. My beloved, things that once felt normal now feel uncomfortable. Conversations that once engaged you now seem empty. Environments that once felt easy now weigh heavily upon your spirit. You may ask yourself, am I changing too much? But I tell you, this is not imbalance, it is elevation. As it is written, set your mind on things above, Colossians 3:1. When I lift you higher, what belongs to lower levels will no longer fit you. I often begin a transition, my beloved child, with a quiet cleansing within, not by forcing you to abandon everything at once, but by loosening your attachment to what no longer belongs to you. As it is written, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. This newness is not only about adding what is new, but also releasing what is old. I cannot pour what is new into a space that is already filled with what no longer fits. That is why I allow you to feel a certain discomfort with what once felt familiar, not to disorient you, but to make room for what I am about to establish. Remember Abraham, my child. When I called him to leave his homeland, I did not lay out the entire map before him. I simply said, go from your country to the land I will show you. Genesis 12:1. He did not leave because he understood everything. He left because he no longer belonged where he was. A shift had already taken place within him before his feet ever moved. In the same way, you are being led not by complete understanding, but by a deep inner knowing that the old place is no longer yours. My beloved, when you grow weary of trying to please others, when you find that you no longer desire to live according to the expectations of the world, when your soul feels heavy in environments lacking light, do not assume that you are becoming difficult. I am refining you. I am teaching you discernment. As it is written, test all things, hold fast what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. You are being trained to no longer accept everything as before, but to choose according to the life within you. This is happening because you were designed for a higher place. As I lift you, what belongs to lower levels becomes restrictive. You can no longer fit into spaces that once held you. As it is written, he makes my feet like the feet of deer and sets me on my high places. Psalm 18:33. A new position requires a renewed soul, a transformed perception, and a higher standard. Therefore, do not resist this change. My beloved, do not try to return to what was simply because it feels familiar. If you do, you will feel caught between two worlds, no longer belonging to the old, yet not fully stepping into the new. But I declare that you are not abandoned in between. I am leading you step by step, layer by layer, movement by movement. Be at peace. For what you are experiencing is not instability, it is transition. It is not loss, it is preparation. It is not distance, it is elevation. And as you continue to walk, my beloved child, you will begin to see that all these inner changes are not random or disconnected, but part of a structured process guided by me. As it is written, the path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. Proverbs 4:18. The light within you is increasing little by little, until you step fully into the clarity of this new season. Keep your heart soft. My child, allow me to continue clearing, arranging, and expanding what is within you. For when the inside is made ready, the outside cannot remain unchanged. And when that moment comes, you will know with certainty that everything has been prepared long in advance, and that you are stepping precisely into what I have already set aside for you. My beloved, there is something I have been doing quietly within you that you did not fully recognize before. I have been recalibrating the scale within your soul. In the past, you were easily swayed by the words of others. A compliment could lift you. A criticism could weigh you down. And when there was no response, you questioned your worth. But now, you are beginning to notice that you are no longer carried by those waves. This is not indifference, it is liberation. As it is written, the fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be safe. Proverbs 29:25. I am freeing you from the trap of dependence on human approval, so that you may stand firm in the affirmation that comes from me. You will recognize something clearly. Even if you cannot yet name it, you no longer react as strongly to what once unsettled you. Words no longer pierce as deeply, and circumstances no longer easily pull you out of your inner stillness. You may wonder, am I becoming distant? But I tell you, no. As it is written, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. John 14:27. What I am placing within you is not detachment, but a new kind of peace, the peace of one who knows their position. When you know where you belong, you no longer need to prove who you are. At the same time, I am doing something that may confuse you. I am removing your desire for what once satisfied you. Conversations that once engaged you now feel shallow. Old joys no longer fulfill you as they once did. You may ask, what is happening to me? But I tell you, this is not loss, it is growth. As it is written, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. 1 Corinthians 13:11. The change within you is a sign that you are maturing, not losing your way. I am awakening within you a new hunger, a desire for what is deeper, truer, and carries weight. You are beginning to seek conversations that bring life, relationships that hold depth, and responsibilities that shape you. This is not driven by pressure, but by transformation. As it is written, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Matthew 5:6. This new hunger is evidence that I am preparing you for a different table, one you have not yet sat at before. My beloved child, when you feel that you are no longer as you once were, do not be afraid. This is not the loss of yourself, but a shedding of an old form. You are changing your spiritual skin. What once fit you now feels restrictive, not because it was wrong, but because you have outgrown it. As it is written, put on the new self, which is renewed in knowledge according to the image of him who created him. Colossians 3:10. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, one aligned with what I am about to entrust to you. So do not try to hold on to what I am removing. Do not attempt to revive what I am allowing to fade. If you cling to it, you will feel tension within, like someone trying to wear a garment that has become too small. But if you release it, you will begin to experience the lightness and freedom into which I am leading you. Understand this clearly. My beloved child, only those who are being prepared to step into a new position undergo such deep transformation. Not everyone is led through this process, because not everyone is called into that place. As it is written, many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. And you are among those being carefully prepared. Therefore, when you notice your heart changing, when your standards are being raised, when you find yourself no longer fitting into what once felt normal, rejoice quietly within. For these are clear signs that you are drawing nearer to the place I have appointed for you. The peace you are now experiencing is not a temporary stillness. It is the foundation of a new life. Stand firm in this transformation. My beloved, for I am not merely changing your circumstances, I am redefining you. And when you are defined by me, nothing from the outside can truly shake you. As I lift you into a deeper dimension, I do not only alter what surrounds you, I sharpen your inner sight so that you can perceive what you once overlooked. You begin to discern what lies beneath the surface. Relationships that once seemed safe now reveal misalignment. Words that appeared kind now expose their true intent. Opportunities that look appealing outwardly now feel empty within. You may wonder, why am I becoming more critical? But I tell you, this is not harshness, it is clarity. As it is written, the spiritual man judges all things, 1 Corinthians 2:15. You are no longer evaluating life by old standards, but by the discernment I am placing within you. Know this deeply. I am not only teaching you to distinguish between good and evil, I am teaching you to discern between what is good and what is right. There are things that are not wrong, yet they do not belong to you. There are doors that close not because they are harmful, but because they are not the path I have assigned to you. As it is written, test what is pleasing to the Lord, Ephesians 5:10. You are being trained to move beyond appearances and to follow the life within. This is the mark of one who is positioned. They do not live by what their eyes see, but by what their spirit discerns. I also lead you through a phase that may feel unfamiliar, a deep stillness that might make you think you have fallen out of rhythm. But I tell you, this is not misalignment. It is preparation. As it is written, the Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. This stillness is not emptiness. It is the place where I am setting your direction. It is like the calm of the sea before the wind shifts, a quiet that does not signal absence, but the formation of a greater movement. Remember Elijah, my child. After moments of power and confrontation, he entered a place of stillness where there was no noise, no dramatic sign. And there, I did not appear in the wind, nor in the fire, but in a gentle whisper. As it is written, after the fire came a still small voice, 1 Kings 19:12. Stillness is not distance between us. It is the environment in which you come to know me more clearly. When everything external quiets down, you begin to hear direction from within. If you sense a different kind of peace, not because everything is perfect, but because your heart is no longer strained as before, know that this is the sign that my hand is upon the helm of your life. You do not need to control everything. I am guiding you. As it is written, commit your way to the Lord, and he shall bring it to pass. Psalm 37:5. You are being brought into a place where control is replaced with trust. And there is one more thing, my beloved child, that I want you to recognize as a profound sign of this transition. Your old wounds no longer hold the same power over you. There were memories that once weighed heavily on your heart, that caused you to hesitate, that pulled you back into dark places. But now, when you look back, they are no longer sharp. They no longer make you tremble, no longer define you. As it is written, I will heal their backsliding. I will love them freely. Hosea 14:4. True healing is not the erasing of the past, but the removal of its power. Remember Joseph, my child. When he stood before his brothers, the very ones who had wounded him, he was no longer bound by his past pain. Instead of resentment, he declared, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Genesis 50:20. That was not natural strength. It was the result of a soul that had been freed from its past. I have done the same within you. I have not erased your memories, but I have removed their sting. For as I prepare to lead you into a brighter place, I do not allow the shadows of the past to speak into your present. I will not permit old voices to shape your new decisions. As it is written, "If the Son sets you free, you shall be free indeed." John 8:36. The freedom you are experiencing is not temporary, it is the foundation of your next step. My beloved child, all these signs, your sharpened perception, the stillness within, the lightness over your past, are not isolated occurrences. They are a coordinated movement, a unified signal that you are being brought into a new phase. Not everyone recognizes this, but you do, because you are being led from within. So do not be afraid when you find yourself changing. Do not doubt what you are sensing simply because others do not understand it. I am training you for a position you cannot enter with your old awareness. I am preparing you not just to live, but to live rightly positioned. Keep your heart open, my child, and continue walking in the quietness I am giving you. For within that stillness, I am guiding you across a threshold, and when you cross it, you will no longer be who you were yesterday, but who you have been destined to become in the season I have prepared for you from the beginning. My beloved child, there will come a moment when you look back at what once felt familiar and realize it can no longer contain you. Not because those things have become wrong, but because you have outgrown them. What once satisfied you now feels restrictive. What once brought comfort now feels suffocating. Environments that once fit, you can no longer hold the expansion taking place within you. You may think you are becoming unstable or inconsistent, but I declare to you, this is not fluctuation, it is elevation. As it is written, enlarge the place of your tent, do not hold back, Isaiah 54:2. When I expand you, the old structures can no longer suffice. Understand this clearly. My beloved, the strongest sign of a new season is not that doors immediately open outwardly, but that something begins to unfold within you first. As it is written, the kingdom of God is within you, Luke 17:21. Every true movement begins internally. When something shifts inside you, the external world will only later reflect what has already taken place. So if you feel that you no longer fit what once felt sufficient, it is not a sign that you are lost, it is a sign that you are advancing. My child, when you feel confined by what once felt natural, do not rush back to it simply because it is familiar. If you try to force yourself into old patterns, you will feel a deep inner conflict, not because you are wrong, but because you have surpassed that measure. As it is written, no one puts new wine into old wineskins, Luke 5:37. What I am pouring into you requires a new structure, a new space, and a new way of living. And in the midst of all these changes, there will arise within you something subtle yet undeniable, a knowing that does not come from reasoning, does not require proof, and does not depend on external confirmation. It will not be loud or urgent, nor will it overwhelm you. It will be like a quiet whisper in the depths of your soul. It is time. As it is written, to everything there is a season, Ecclesiastes 3:1. You will begin to recognize that your appointed time has shifted. You do not need anyone to tell you, because you know, not through logic, but through inner conviction. As it is written, the Spirit Himself bears witness with our spirit, Romans 8:16. The voice you are hearing is not imagination, it is the witness from within, where I am speaking directly to you. And what I am speaking is not an invitation to consider, but a confirmation that you have crossed into a new threshold. Stand firmly in this awareness. The old season has come to completion, not because you failed, but because it has fulfilled its purpose. And what is opening before you is not a simple continuation, it is a new phase, a new position, a new way of living. I am whispering into your depths not to trouble you, but to awaken you, not to rush you forward, but to align your steps. And that whisper, my beloved, is this: you have entered the season of unveiling, the season of transition, the season of positioning. Therefore, believe, respond, and walk as one who knows they no longer belong to the former place, but are already standing within what has long been prepared. My beloved child, listen with the depth that has been formed within you. For now, I reveal what previous seasons did not permit you to receive. This is not the praise of the world, nor the validation of crowds, but a declaration that comes from me, the one who has watched every step you have taken in secret. I lay my hand upon your life, not based on what you displayed before others, but on what you became when no one was watching. As it is written, your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Matthew 6:6. And that reward is not merely blessing, it is position. My beloved child, you have walked through seasons that many could not understand, long nights without answers, moments when everything within you wanted to withdraw. Yet you chose to remain, and I saw it all. I saw you keep your heart tender when you could have hardened. I saw you hold on to truth even when you were misunderstood. I saw you allow me to break the structures you once depended on, so that I could rebuild a new foundation within you. As it is written, the Lord tests the righteous, Psalm 11:5. And that testing was never meant to break you, but to prove that you could stand. And so today, my beloved, I place upon you the mark of a new phase, not a mark visible to human eyes, but a transformation undeniable within your spirit. As it is written, you were sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise, Ephesians 1:13. This seal does not come from man, but from my Spirit. And I declare this moment before heaven and earth, this is the season in which you are lifted into the position long prepared for you. But hear this clearly, my child, for it will keep you steady. Elevation does not make things easier, it makes them weightier. As it is written, he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much, Luke 16:10. When I raise you to a higher place, I also entrust you with deeper responsibility. A new level does not only change your perspective, it changes the weight you must carry. You can no longer walk by emotion as you once did. You cannot rely on fleeting enthusiasm to sustain what has been given to you. I am calling you into a disciplined way of living, discipline in your thoughts, in your words, in your decisions. As it is written, watch and pray, Matthew 26:41. Vigilance is no longer optional. It is essential for you to hold what I have entrusted to you. Understand this as an unshakable principle. If you are elevated without maintaining inner stability, you will be shaken by the very things I have given you, not because you are not called, but because you have not yet sustained the structure required to carry it over time. As it is written, the house built on the rock stood firm when the storm came, Matthew 7:25. I do not desire for you to rise quickly. I desire for you to stand enduringly. Therefore, do not seek to be seen. Do not allow your mind to chase after the approval of others. True position is not found where people are watching, but where I have placed you. As it is written, he who humbles himself will be exalted, Luke 14:11. The more you keep your heart humble, the more firmly you will stand in what I have given. My beloved child, as you step into this season, carry a new posture, not the posture of one trying to prove, but of one who has already been affirmed, not of one searching for position, but of one entrusted to hold it. Let every step you take be guided not only by the light you see, but by the discernment you carry within. There will be things that appear right but are not mine. There will be opportunities that seem appealing yet carry no life. As it is written, there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Proverbs 14:12. You must learn to discern not merely with your eyes, but with a spirit that has been refined and sharpened. I did not call you higher so that you would fall. My beloved child, I did not place you in position only for you to fail to hold it. I have prepared you, and I will continue to sustain you if you remain in me. As it is written, abide in me, for without me you can do nothing. John 15:4-5. Your endurance does not rest in your ability, but in your connection to me. So walk forward, my child, but walk with awareness. Advance, but with steadiness. Receive what I place in your hands, but carry it with a heart that has been shaped in the refining fire. And remember this, I do not only lift you up, I uphold you. If you walk with me, no wind will overthrow you. No pressure will break you. For I am not only the one who calls you, I am the one who establishes and sustains you in every season. What I am placing into your hands now is no longer light. It is a responsibility that only those who have passed through fire can carry. I am entrusting you with an influence that cannot be seen with natural eyes, yet can be felt in the spiritual realm. It is not measured by how many listen to you, but by what changes when you are present. When you enter a place, the atmosphere shifts not because of how much you speak, but because of what you carry. As it is written, you are the light of the world, Matthew 5:14. Light does not argue to prove itself, it simply shines, and darkness recedes. But hear this clearly, my beloved, for it will guard you in this season. Influence is not given for self-satisfaction. It is not a tool to seek recognition, nor a weapon to prove yourself right. As it is written, whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant, Matthew 20:26. True influence is always joined with service. If you use it to elevate yourself, it will become a burden, but if you use it to lift others, it will become a flow of life. Remember Samson, my child, I placed great strength within him, but when he did not preserve reverence, that strength became the cause of his downfall. As it is written, the Lord had departed from him, and he did not know it. Judges 16:20. The greatest danger is not losing influence. It is believing you still have it when I have withdrawn my hand. That is why I place within you a safeguard, the fear of me. Not fear that drives you away, but a deep reverence that leads you to examine your heart before you act. Influence is like a sword. My beloved, it can open the way for life, but it can also wound if it is wielded with the wrong intent. So do not rush to use what I have given you. Learn first to carry it with care. As it is written, guard your heart above all else, for out of it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. If your heart is aligned, your influence will heal. If your heart is misaligned, your influence will harm, even without intention. Therefore, I do not only give you authority, I also give you strategy to preserve it. And this is the first principle you must engrave within yourself. You must learn to recognize my voice faster than your own emotions. At this level, it is not the fastest who stands, it is the one who hears correctly. As it is written, my sheep hear my voice, John 10:27. You cannot respond merely because emotions rise within you. You must pause, listen, and discern. There will be moments when you stand before a choice, and your emotions will urge you to act immediately. But I say to you, do not first ask, what should I do? Ask instead, what is the source of what is driving me? As it is written, test the spirits, 1 John 4:1. Not every impulse comes from me, even if it appears right. The one who is positioned does not act under pressure, but moves with clarity. Remember Gideon, my beloved child. When I called him, he did not rush headlong into battle. He sought confirmation. He learned to discern my voice, even in the presence of his own fear. And when he finally moved, He did not prevail by numbers, but by precise obedience. As it is written, the Lord said to Gideon, "The people with you are too many." Judges 7-2. I taught him that victory does not come from doing more, but from aligning exactly with what I have spoken. My child, in this season, your sensitivity matters more than your speed. You do not need to move quickly. You need to move rightly. If you run fast in the wrong direction, you will only exhaust yourself. But if you walk slowly in alignment, you will arrive at the place I have prepared. As it is written, the path of the righteous shines ever brighter. Proverbs 4:18. The light will guide each step if you are willing to listen. I will teach you something deeper still, how to remain still in the midst of chaos. There will be moments when everything around you is filled with noise, opinion, and pressure to react. But the one who is positioned is not carried away by that current. They know when to stand still. As it is written, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Psalm 37-7. Stillness is not weakness. It is strength under control. When you learn to hear me in the small things, the simple choices, the daily responses, you will not be deceived in the greater matters. For great misalignment often begins with small, unnoticed deviations. But when your ear is trained to my voice, you will discern even the slightest shift. Carry what I have given you with humility and awareness. My beloved, do not fear responsibility, but do not treat it lightly. For I am not only giving you influence, I am teaching you how to hold it without being distorted by it. Walk, then, with clarity, not driven by emotion, not pulled by pressure, but led by my voice. And when you do this, you will not only influence your surroundings, you will shape them, because you are no longer operating from yourself, but from me, my beloved child. When I place you in a new position, I do not only observe what you do, I observe how you hold yourself under pressure. Therefore, engrave this truth within your heart before you can lead anything outwardly. You must learn to govern what is within. If your soul is not cared for, everything I give you will become a burden instead of a blessing. As it is written, guard your heart above all else, for out of it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. The foundation of influence is not in what you do, but in who you are. Picture your soul as a garden. My child, no garden bears fruit without tending. I have planted good seeds within you, but if you do not remove the weeds, they will overtake what is meant to grow. Those weeds are the thoughts that make you doubt your worth, the whispers that cause you to diminish yourself. As it is written, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. You cannot leave your thoughts unattended. You must choose what is allowed to remain. And there are not only weeds, there are hidden pests. These are the words that erode your confidence, the negative conclusions you hold within, the inner voices that cause you to forget who you are in me. If you do not identify and remove them, they will quietly damage what I am building. As it is written, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. Galatians 5-9. Small things, left unchecked, become greater destruction. There are also winds and storms. Comparison. Envy. The desire to be seen. These do not come loudly, but they are strong enough to uproot you if you are not grounded. As it is written, let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. 1 Corinthians 10:12. Stability does not come from position, but from the condition of your heart each day. Remember Adam, my child. I placed him in the garden not only to enjoy it, but to tend and keep it. Genesis 2:15. The garden did not sustain itself. It required stewardship. In the same way, your soul does not maintain itself automatically. You must tend to it intentionally. And when you do, you will not need to force results. Fruit will come naturally. As it is written, "He who abides in me bears much fruit." John 15:5. Fruitfulness is the natural outcome of a life that is rightly maintained. And now, my beloved child, I lead you into something deeper still. Not every opportunity you encounter comes from me. There are doors that open yet carry no life. Invitations that sound appealing yet do not lead you in the right direction. As it is written, Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11:14. Not everything that appears bright is true light. Therefore, you must learn to see beyond the surface. Do not settle for appearance. Seek the essence. When an opportunity comes, do not first ask whether it is attractive. Ask, does this draw me closer to him, or does it pull me away? As it is written, find out what pleases the Lord. Ephesians 5:10. Discernment is not born from first impressions, but from placing everything under my light. Remember Eve in the garden. My child, the fruit looked good. The words sounded reasonable. Yet its nature led to separation. As it is written, the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and she took of its fruit and ate. Genesis 3-6. The failure was not in seeing, but in failing to discern the source. I do not want you to repeat that. I want you to look deeper. You must also learn to recognize this. An opportunity that truly comes from me carries life, even if it includes challenge. It will not drain your soul. It will strengthen you. It may call you out of comfort, but it will not produce inner confusion. As it is written, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Peace is the evidence that you are moving within. My beloved, discernment is your armor in this season. Not an armor to avoid battle, but one that protects you from wounds that come from battles never assigned to you. Without it, you will exhaust yourself on things I never asked of you. But with it, you will walk precisely, without waste, without being pulled off course. So guard your soul as a well-tended garden, and view every opportunity through eyes that have been enlightened. When you do these things, you will not need to strive excessively to succeed. I will lead you to the right place, at the right time, with exactly what you need. And remember, my child, I am not only calling you to move, I am equipping you so that you will not merely walk, but walk rightly, walk firmly, and walk enduringly in what I have ordained. My beloved child, when I lift you into a new position, I do not measure how much you accomplish, but why you do it. Therefore, keep your motives pure, like the source of a river, untainted by the need for recognition or the desire to be exalted. I do not seek flawless perfection in you. I seek a sincere heart, one that returns to me in every decision. As it is written, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. What sustains you is not the image you project, but the integrity you maintain within. You will enter spaces where your voice carries weight, where your presence influences what surrounds you. But I warn you, as a father who guards you, do not allow that influence to become a mirror for your own ego. Many have been lifted up, yet instead of building what I entrusted to them, they built thrones for themselves, and those very thrones became their downfall. As it is written, pride goes before destruction. Proverbs 16:18. Remind your heart continually that you are not here to please people, but to please me. Remember King Saul, my beloved child. When he began, he was humble, and I chose him. But when his heart slowly turned toward seeking the approval of people, he lost my guidance. As it is written, I feared the people and obeyed their voice. 1 Samuel 15:24. It was the shift in his motive that caused him to lose what I had entrusted to him. I do not desire that for you. I want your heart anchored in the right place, where every action flows from reverence for me, not from the expectations of others. When your motives remain pure, you will not need to strive to be seen. I will make the way for you. As it is written, humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. James 4:10. True elevation does not come from proving yourself, but from surrender. And when I increase your influence, it will not cost you your soul, because your focus has been rightly aligned. And now, my beloved, I want you to lift your vision beyond yourself, beyond today, beyond what you are currently experiencing, to see a greater picture. I have not brought you into this season merely for your own advancement. I have placed you here so that your life may become a flow of influence that extends beyond you. As it is written, he shall be like a tree planted by streams of water. Its leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. Psalm 1:3. A tree does not exist for itself. It bears fruit for others. Legacy is not something that appears only when your journey ends. It is formed in the way you live each day. It is shaped in every decision you make, in every word you speak, in every way you respond to those around you. A single word from you can plant a seed in a heart you may never see again. An act of faithfulness in secret can become the foundation upon which a future generation stands. As it is written, in the morning sow your seed, and in the evening do not withhold your hand. Ecclesiastes 11:6. Every action you take is a seed. Remember Abraham. My child, when I called him, he did not walk only for himself. He walked for a lineage not yet visible. As it is written, in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Genesis 22:18. His steps became the groundwork for generations to come. In the same way, you are not living only for your present. You are shaping an influence that will touch lives you may never encounter. So live with the awareness that every decision you make carries weight beyond you. When you choose rightly in small things, you are setting a path for others to follow. When you remain faithful in unseen places, you are building a foundation others will one day stand upon. As it is written, the righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. Proverbs 20:7. Your life today becomes the blessing of tomorrow for others. My beloved child, if you live only for yourself, you will choose quickly. But if you live with a vision of legacy, you will choose rightly. If you live only by present emotions, you will be easily shaken. But if you live with future generations in mind, you will walk with care, depth, and steadiness. Let every step you take be illuminated by this truth. You are not merely living, you are sowing. You are not merely reacting, you are shaping. And when you understand this, you will walk with a quiet gravity, a steady strength that does not need to be announced. I have placed you in this season not merely for you to experience it, my beloved child, but for you to become a source. And when you keep your motives pure and live with the vision of legacy, I will cause your life not only to bear fruit, but to bear fruit that remains. What flows from you will not fade with time, because it is rooted in what I have established within you. Now I speak what your soul has long been prepared to receive. You are no longer standing among those who are only being shaped. You have been brought into the company of those who are sent, not because you have reached perfection, but because you have learned how to stand firm within the process. As it is written, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Matthew 10:16. The sending does not wait for perfection. It comes when you are ready to walk under my direction. From this moment, you do not only receive, you begin to operate. You do not only learn, you begin to execute. You no longer carry the weight of the former season. You carry the authority of the new one I have placed upon you. I give you the authority to stand before winds you once avoided. I place within you the capacity to open paths you once feared to approach. I give weight to your words not because of volume, but because of their source. As it is written, I have put my words in your mouth, Jeremiah 1:9. When you speak in alignment with me, your words are no longer your own. They become an expression of what I am declaring. You will step into doors you once only observed from a distance, not because you have grown more confident in yourself, but because I have affirmed you. Yet hold this as an unshakable principle. My beloved, elevation is not meant to exalt you, but to reveal me through you. If light shines upon you and you forget its source, you will lose your direction. As it is written, not unto's, O Lord, but to your name give glory. Psalm 115:1. You are a vessel, one I have chosen and refined for my purpose. And because of this, your heart must continually return to its origin. Do not let open doors make you forget the days you stood in the refining fire. Do not allow influence to take away the simplicity that once kept you steady. As it is written, let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. 1 Corinthians 10:12. This warning is not to instill fear, but to preserve awareness. For I lift you not so that you rise briefly, but so that you remain. Remember David, my child. When he faced Goliath, he did not rely on reputation, but on the unseen days when he tended sheep, days when no one watched as he overcame lions and bears. As it is written, the Lord will deliver me. 1 Samuel 17:37. His strength did not come from the moment of confrontation, but from faithfulness in hidden places. In the same way, what will sustain you in this season is what was built within you when you were unseen. My beloved child, now I place my hand upon your shoulder as a father, and also as a warrior preparing you for the field ahead. Not for you to fight in your own strength, but for you to move under my guidance. As it is written, be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1-9. Your courage does not arise from circumstances, but from my presence going with you. So step forward, but step with awareness. Stand, but stand upon what has already been built within you. Act, but act with discernment. Guard your heart, for it is where I dwell. And above all, allow me to move through you without obstruction, without distortion, without deviation. You are no longer one who stands outside looking in. You are within the current now. And from this moment, as you respond to my voice, you will see that what I have spoken is no longer just a promise. It becomes a living reality operating through your life. Thank you for receiving this message. Know this, you are not merely a listener, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of the Word. Remain attentive, remain anchored, and do not neglect what has been entrusted to you. Amen.